I got this ratted out old SV650, first ever motorcycle, and she's been through the ringer. And looking for a project this winter, and I think it's going to be to bring it back to life. In doing so, cleaning up the carbs. I didn't get this part on footage, but threading this guy back in, pilot jet, snapped it right in two. Fortunately, we were able to get this screw extractor in here, pop it out. Got a new jet coming in the mail. That's locked on there. All right, so that carb we're mating on a new jet. In the meantime, get this guy all cleaned up, get the cylinders honed. Got the old flexi ball hone. What is this, silica carbide? Whatever it is, it's the wrong thing for Nicosil. We're just trying to put a little crosshatch in there. A lot of guys say, hey, don't be honing Nicosil, it's too thin. Pitch posh. Send her down the road, let her rip. See what happens, we'll report back. Let you know if you should or shouldn't do it. I think it's silica carbide. You're supposed to do it with aluminum oxide or something. Fuck if I know. A lot of guys hate on these little L wrenches. Oh, I just use sockets. Look at how quick that is. Just spin that puppy right out of there. Alright, let's see what we're working with. The fuck is that? Rust? Looks like a bunch of fine rust particles that were shaving off the gas tank. Interesting. Yes, the gas tank is rusty. That's perfectly clean. Use this. Oh, the matrix. Am I playing around in the fourth dimension here? Nah, there you can kind of see it. Perfectly clean. Ooh, that's a little crusty. Feels like there's dirt in there. Well, I think that's about all we're gonna do today. Not a whole lot. Get a boot on order. Thinking Friday we'll probably try to hone out those cylinders. Gap out these rings. Wasner, we'll see how those run. Get a pilot jet for that carb, and then I think we'll be ready to start putting her back together. I better grab another one of these for the road. Stay tuned. Where'd we leave off? Got the carbs to the point that we can get them. Still waiting on the pilot jet. And then I think today, these bearings are pretty gross in here. We're going to clean them up, see how they look. Same goes for this guy. Look at that schmoo. And then hone ring gaps, and we might be able to start putting the engine back together. So these bearings are actually captured, it looks like. Normally those just fall all over the place. It's nice to use these soft Harbor Freight pecks. Don't scratch up your bearings, your roller elements. Oh yeah, it's actually cleaning up pretty well. Those look pretty good. Fuck. It's still pretty hot. Alright, so most of the time when I do swing arm bearings like this, it's on a motorbike, and they are never caged. Every single bearing in this assembly is caged, which makes maintenance quite easy. It's a little bit more difficult to clean them because you can't just pull all the bearings out, swish them around in brake parts cleaner, but it's pretty nice not having to put the roller elements back in there. And from what I can gather, the reason for doing so is that the cage consumes space that could otherwise be, assumed by the bearing element, and so they have less load bearing capacity. So as I'm going through these, looking at these bearings, and it almost looks like corrosion on there. And I was a little paranoid about the bearings because there was, that same color inside of them. But I think that's just the color of the grease they use. It might be a learning moment. If you can use like blue or green grease, it makes a inspection of the bearing a lot easier because you can tell if your seals are working, if it's nice and pretty and still at its original color, versus using a grease that is hard to distinguish between rust. I don't know. I use red and tacky for everything, but I'm thinking red might sort of have a similar scenario, but I don't know. Food for thought. I know the colors are supposed to usually denote what the intended purpose of the grease is, but I don't know. Things are starting to change. They're making grease in all sorts of colors. See that? That's just baked on cooked old grease. Wipes right off of there. I was worried. Look at how clean those look now. I can't believe. I don't know. Can you guys see that? Get you right in there. Beautiful. Not bad for a 25-year-old motorcycle. Thought for sure I'd be swapping those out for new bearings. So grease compatibility has improved quite a bit in recent years, but if you use the wrong types of grease, if you start mixing them up, I have no idea what kind of grease was originally in these bearings from the factory, but it can have a tendency, if they are incompatible, to sort of cake up, collapse, I guess is maybe what the chemical engineers use. But I don't know if you've ever seen grease where it just kind of turns into like a powdery thick paste. That's usually what happens when you mix incompatible grease types. So figured for this we'd just play it safe. I mean, they needed to be cleaned out super well anyway. Play it safe and just clean everything out from the old bearings and just give her a fresh new coat.